Hi there, my name is Kaylee,
My name is Shay.
and we're tackling some big debt.
In the Big Apple. Yes, we are. Kaylee's dissociating.
Yeah, we're okay. How do I want us? We should have discussed.
That's okay.
We are here today to discuss. We're not doing anything in the budget. We're just talking
Yeah.
through what our next, financial focus, financial goal,
Big savings goal.
big savings goal. So, for those who've been around for a long time and those who are brand new, you should know that I have a lot of student loan debt that we've been paying down pretty decently aggressively over the last year or so. We also just got married. And we want to buy a condo, co-op, apartment, something at some point in the near future. Both of those things are expensive.
Yeah.
And big, life-changing things to do when, I have six figures plus of student loan debt. And so getting rid of that is life-altering, and purchasing a home and getting out of the New York City rental market is life-altering. And doing both at the same time, for a little bit of backstory, I guess. We started talking about this a while back because I expressed to Shay some hesitance around trying to do too much at once and kind of pulling ourselves in multiple directions, because it felt like, you just don't get as much done when your money is split in a million directions. You're doing a little bit for a long time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, previously it had been easy for us to decide on a priority because there was a set date when we had to have a set amount of money for the wedding. And now that we've moved past that goal, we reached that goal, we did it, it's closed out, we're done, we're good. We have these two other goals that are much larger in scale and also have really no set dollar amount and also no set end date. So we've both taken a couple weeks to have a think about how we want to split up the money that we're allocating to savings, and we're just going to have a chat about it on a video.
Because I think this is also an important part of the budgeting as a couple and budgeting together, is not necessarily always clicking around in YNAB, but it's having conversations around our priorities and the things that matter most to us.
Yes.
And making sure, that we're aligned. And I think for me, the hardest part about this conversation is that I feel really guilty that our focus needs to be this large amount of money. Because, a lot of the extra funds that came from, that helped pay for the wedding was Shay working 2 jobs at the same time. Shay is an actor. And so any money that came from her performing and acting was going to pay for the wedding. And that felt great because it was something that we were doing together. Whereas focusing on the student loans feels like she's having to pay for decisions that I made in the past. And so I think that's why this is such a difficult conversation for me, is because I feel terrible that that's on the table. And I also know that if it was just me, that would be what I would pick 100%. So it's really difficult for me.
And I'm just here.
And she is just here. And she's a wonderful partner. Oh, jeez. and, she's a wonderful partner and wants to be supportive. And also, I don't know, So there's a lot, it's not math so much, this conversation, but more of like feelings and just kind of what makes sense for us to do right now. And I don't really have an answer still, even after thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah, that's super fair. I've had a minute to think about it, and I have the privilege of not coming into the situation with any student debt of my own, and so I'm not really working with any emotional baggage.
For once.
Hey. Us anxiety girlies have to stick together. And so, like, I don't mind putting money that I was already planning on making toward your student loans, which we have agreed by getting married is going to be a joint venture for us to pay off. But also, having weird feelings around whatever we've decided in terms of our savings goals is also not helpful in the long run. And I think like we want to avoid feelings of guilt every time we hit a milestone for that reason. So here's what I've been thinking. I've been trying to look at it from more of a numbers perspective and specifically an interest perspective. Because we have these high yield savings accounts that we're putting all of our money that we'll be saving for the house. And it's a very high interest rate. It's sort of between like 4.5% and 5% annual return on that, which is awesome. And then also, I'm trying to keep in mind the interest rate of each of the loans that you're on. And my thought is that for all of your loans that have an interest rate higher than 5%, our money is objectively going farther not collecting interest on your student loans than it is collecting interest sitting in a high yield savings account. And so my thought about this is that for the loans that we have with an interest rate higher than 5%, we should be as aggressive as we possibly can getting those loans out of the way. And then once we hit a place where like the interest on those is kind of the same, we can revisit the idea and talk about potentially splitting our focus between those two savings goals.
And you're not going to feel like weird about that?
No.
I don't still want there to be like any like long-term resentment, because that really, I mean, what it means is that we're pushing back the buying a house goal.
Yeah.
By like probably 2 years at least.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that you're right mathematically. I think that's a very holistic way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm holding us back.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I mean, I know that you feel like you're holding us back, but I've got, give or take, on average, $10,000 a year to bring to the table to put wherever it is that we want, and I wouldn't feel bad about putting that money that I have to bring to the table toward either savings goal. I think it'll be objectively more useful going toward your really high interest student loans, but emotionally it might be more useful to see a balance going up in direction in terms of what we're looking at for a
our net worth would be going up pretty drastically,
mm-hmm.
which would be great.
Yeah.
And it's not like, for the wedding, instead of gifts, we didn't want gifts. We wanted, money towards a down payment.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like we have nothing. And so that money will continue to grow in that high yield savings account in the meantime.
It will.
I'm trying to anchor myself in the fact that if I wasn't married and I was just by myself making these decisions, that is also a decision I would make.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to stick with that. But I also wanted to make sure that it was a conclusion you came to on your own without being swayed by me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want you to feel like I was making that decision for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that this is like a solo thing that I brought in to our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. And my feeling about it is that I'm certainly not planning on divorcing you anytime soon.
Better not.
So, it's kind of like the debt snowball effect that you're talking about, is that now that we're in this together, I'm much more interested in doing the thing that is going to get us to our goals faster.
Mm-hmm. And that is objectively paying off the high interest debt.
Yeah.
Because, as soon as that's all gone, we're going to be getting a $1,200+ a month raise
mm-hmm.
after tax, like a humongous cash flow injection Like, we just can't ignore that fact. And like all of our other goals will be expedited. Our net worth will be green. It's the right decision to make.
Yeah.
Mathematically and otherwise.
Yeah.
Would you like to look at the numbers of it?
Yeah, sure.
It's also the more responsible decision. I think that's why I'm averse. Because it's like, that's not the fun, that's not the exciting thing. Like, buying a house is exciting and fun, and we have like long-term investments. But what's the point of having a house if I'm still wrapped up in $1,200 to $1,500 a month in student loan payments?
Yeah.
Let's get a mortgage we can't afford. Cool. Like, that's not a good idea.
What's the point if I have to spend half my morning working stress knots out of your shoulders over this?
It's true.
Okay. It's a waste of time.
So this guy, the 7.6 is the highest. So this will be paid off by the end of this year already, and even faster if we start throwing acting money at it when your off season is over.
Yeah.
So already done. 6.3, 5.3, 6.3, 5.3. So it's the grad school loans. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's like the bulk and majority of the money.
Yeah.
Of the student loans. So I feel like, well, these are cranking in the background because these are 3.8, 3.8. 4.6 is a little up there for me.
Yeah.
So I feel like we just slammed these out, honestly.
Yeah. Or here's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Would it make any difference to you emotionally if I got to put the money that I'm making acting toward the little guys?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've said it before, like the numbers here have very little impact on me. Like this one, because I want to get this one knocked out, but it's the overall number.
Yeah.
And so also the thing that I get excited about is like thinking about how when this is done, the target on this one is $532, and we'll be able to take all 532 and add it to this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be paying huge chunks of it off month over month, and that is very exciting to me. Like watching them go down faster is very motivating.
Okay. That's great.
Like they're all going down as long as they don't cancel the whole save plan. They're all going down because I'm paying a little bit more than the interest on all of them.
Yeah.
Not a lot more. Like this is like $1 more, maybe. This is like 50 cents more. Like I've just rounded up to what the interest accrual is at month over month. But because of the save plan, I've been able to slam through it really fast, which is rad. But yeah, I mean, we're buckling up for a good couple of years to just like head down crank.
Yeah. Which
we've got a balanced life. We still save for travel, and we're still planning on traveling and all that stuff. But
yeah. 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 And the other thing that I'm thinking is that, right now, at this time in the market, it is objectively so much smarter to be renting than it is to have made a purchase. At least in New York City.
Interest rates are crazy. It's not like I'm just worried that in a couple of years, it's finally going to be like, everybody's going to be like, it's a buyer's market, and then we're not going to have any money. But it also, it's not the worst thing in the world to be renting and not have the costs associated with homeownership. So we can't afford to buy right now anyway. Like there's no, it would be years until we could buy anyway. And objectively, being in a position where we have higher cash flow when we own a house is better. It's better. It makes more sense. It's just kind of disappointing because I know we're both very excited about the prospect of one day owning a home. But I'm also excited at the prospect of not having this to think about all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also trying to enjoy the fact that, when things break in our apartment, it's still not on us.
That is really nice.
Super nice.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah.
I think it's the right decision.
I agree.
It bums me out.
I'm sorry.
But there's nothing to be done about that, I think.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm grateful for you.
That's good. Because I'm the best. I'm just kidding. I'm very grateful for you too.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. The Jacobs Coughlin family is taking on student loans head first.
Yeah. In an aggressive
In
way.
like a wild way. This is what we're doing. This
Yeah.
is what we're focusing on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you would like to adopt a student loan. Just kidding. We appreciate you all so very much. And thanks for allowing us this brief interlude of conversation in our household.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you all very much. We are approaching 800 subscribers, which is absolutely wild to me that you all care enough to watch this little life that we're living. But if you care, we'll keep posting.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot to post about, as you can see.
That's true. We do.
We're going to keep it pushing.
Yeah.
We're going to keep making payments every single week on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we love you and thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.